join us. We're going to have the Slido system operating during the panel, so please type in your questions, whether to one panelist or to the whole panel as a whole, and we'll get round to asking them as we go. So, let's introduce the panel, please.
Okay, I'm Branislav Straka, coming from Slovakia, CISO bank, and part of Belgium KBC Group. I'm responsible for the innovation, payments, and credits. And maybe shortly, I was interested when I was asking if I will not join this shop debate, is that we bank are still thinking that we are also some kind of shop. But we are trying to enlarge the story of the not only working with the financial products, but also we are going to take a mile also for beyond banking. And therefore also we believe that we also can simplify the UX and increase the experience and decrease the cost also for merchant, and also cost and decrease the risk for the transaction.
Excellent. Thank you, Stanislav. Fahim?
Hi everyone, this is Fahim. I'm from Kingwin. I represent a gaming marketplace, which of course connects buyers and sellers. We have customers from all over the world, and obviously we've got a lot of payments when it covers different countries like North America, Europe, Asia, Latin. So, and of course we have a different kind of payment methods, which is connecting to different gamers, whether it's an in-game item or some other kind of digital products. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Hussein?
Hi everyone, I am Hussein Masadi from MarketPay. So we introduced MarketPay with Petri. My role at MarketPay is managing the financial institutions business unit, which is, so this business unit is selling all MarketPay products and services to financial institutions like issuers, acquirers, PSPs, Fintechs, etc.
Thank you. And Evgeny?
Hello everyone, my name is Ievgen. I'm from Ukraine, from the biggest bank in Ukraine, PrivatBank. My role is management board member responsible for corporate SME and merchant acquiring. And that's very exciting because acquiring it's full of new technologies. And I would say, as an experience from the country at war, that seamless, constant, stable payment technologies, digital payment technologies, it is one of the key recipes for resilience. And that's important. I think we will talk about this as well.
Yeah. And we have Mari on the end, who we've already introduced. Okay, so in those two presentations, there was a lot of things to uncover and consider when we're looking at the evolution of the shop. So I want to pick up something from Mari's presentation. She's talking about customer expectations across all channels. And Petri also spoke about it. He spoke about the customer journey and how important is that. So how do merchants ensure that they have a true omni-channel experience, and what does that actually look like? Who wants to go first?
Maybe I'll take that. So of course, you know, when the customer journey, starting from the, you know, making a checkout payment, whether the user is using credit card or if it's a local payment option, the most important is the customer wants to make the payment instantly and have a successful transaction. When there is a problem, or if it's like a false fraud, then we've got the real issue. So we need to make sure that it's not only seamless, but also very important that it goes in a direction what the right customer wants, not the fraudster. Regarding the omni-channel, of course, when sometimes the credit card processing, sometimes the credit card number is incorrect, that can be various, a lot of other issues. But in my opinion, the most important is that whether it's a recurring payment or subscription payment, it should not fail. It should definitely go ahead with a successful transaction.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting point now you're talking about when false frauds or false positives, that's basically going to stop people returning to the merchant's store. It's providing a poor merchant experience here. And yeah, so it's ensuring that you have the systems in play to prevent that start to become quite important, particularly as fraudsters start to get better at what they do and better at fraud. Stanislav, where do you sit with this? Where are you on the merchant experience and the?
Yeah, we don't have the national scheme because we are fully now the international, and I see that really our story is that the technology is boosting and is good, but also other side, I mean the fraudsters are also how to say, using this latest technology, even sometimes better than we are.
Yeah.
And of course, our daily fight is to protect the customer and of course protect the merchant. And this is always the debate, and I'm happy to be here because really we have to see the latest trend and what we can plug into our system, not to create so many problems to the customer, because we know that once the checkout is not nice, then of course the chance what we saw is pretty high that they will not come back. But really, this is also the story what I already said, that I'm also trying to, in terms of the risk, to use everything what is possible from the technology, but also from our knowledge. Therefore, we are also, for example, changing approach towards the financial crimes. We put all the units together to the one, and because the fraud is in multiple way. It's not only the online, but it's now happening that somebody is putting money in cash, misusing in different way. We have to have all the dots and the information what are possible. And of course, the new, I don't want to misuse the word of AI, but of course, this will be also which we have to learn how to utilize this technology for preventing the frauds. Yeah.
You've got it, using the word AI is mandatory. It's
yeah,
every partner. So Evgeny, there was a couple of points where it picked up, particularly in Petri's presentation, where he started to speak about moving offline and resilience. Now, you face a huge challenge, and how do you go about that?
Yeah, it was a big task and a big challenge to continue supporting operations and transactions during the war, when you don't know what will happen when there are queues of the people to ATMs, for example, or to shops in the first hours of the war. And when the situation calmed down a little bit, because people realize that the cash is safer to keep in a bank, not at home in a pocket, then we received the second wave of challenges, that's blackouts and power outages. It usually combines with a mobile operator failure, potential failure, because even they have UPSs which can continue operating for a couple of hours, not for days. Then we realized that we should ensure, together with merchants, an opportunity to have different channels, multi-channel support of every technology. If there is mobile, it should be also wire connection, for example. There should be additional packs of batteries for connection. There should be QR codes-based technology to make payments in case if something is wrong. So all this combined together helped to continue moving. Besides on that, the country developed another concept. It's called power banking, where in the majority of the bank branches, banks created so-called power banking sites where people could get Wi-Fi via Starlink, the point to power their batteries, phones, etc. It is a place where people could come, or accountants of the companies, and also process the payments online with a bulk of payments done during the day, etc. All in all, it combined helps us to continue absolutely normal operation, providing new technologies, even competing on the market, etc.
That's kind of interesting. So in the war has basically forced you to innovate, just to ensure that you have this resilient payments ecosystem.
Yeah, indeed. There was even one very interesting topic. Ukraine launched 7th in the world Apple solution. We have this payment solution tap-to-phone, yeah, softPOS we have with Apple and third in Europe. Just despite Ukraine is not the biggest market in the world, we knocked the door of Apple and said that we are the biggest bank in the country in a war. This digital technology could help us to continue servicing our customers nearby the front lines, where it is dangerous for our engineers to go to install physical POSes, to make some controls, etc. And it was a very exciting project. We completed in a short period of time, and after that, when we launched, it let us increase the share of softPOSes almost up to 9% in total number of active POS devices. Prior to that, we had about 3.5.
Wow. We'll come back to Apple when we focus on softPOS. But Marius, is this, in your role looking after acceptance across Europe, do you see differences in what's required across here?
So we are working on this project of understanding the difference. And yes, if you take what we call the southeastern country, where you still have, if I take Albania or Moldova, for example, gap in the real acceptance wall, like truly on POS, that's something we're going to address with softPOS, for example. Mm-hmm. If you take other countries like the Nordics or the UK, the acceptance is there. So it's way more like a surgical approach to say, where should we go and talk to the people? Is it sometimes on the medical space or on the education? So it's completely different approach depending on the country. And then coming back to softPOS, again, I saw in an article that 70% of the merchants think that this is the future of the payment terminal. We are on this kind of hybrid model because we truly believe that for some SME, that's the solution. But maybe for some bigger shop, it's a complement. So they would keep the hardware and then they would get the softPOS on top. If they would get a pop-up event, or they would go and do something outside, or it will be sales period and suddenly there is a peak and they see that there is a queue of 20% waiting for, they could go with this combo of hardware and softPOS. So this is the way we see it. Yeah. But to your point, one country in Europe is not another. And that's why we have the local team, the divisional team, and then us as European team, and we try to mix all of the good ideas and bring the expertise from one country to another, because we all have to learn from the successes, but also from the things that we tried and why we failed. So that's the role of the team.
Yeah. And so I mean, I guess you're going to back that up. I was round at your stand earlier, and you have the softPOS, and you have all the different types of payment. And how does a merchant know what the right payment mix is for them?
Yeah. Definitely, softPOS is a complementary technology to the existing, let's say, traditional POS, and I fully agree. And it's not about substituting to the traditional POS devices. It's about adding new possibilities. SoftPOS is sort of ubiquitous technology. It's about being able to accept contactless payments on almost any type of form factor of hardware device. And this allows merchants to better meet consumer expectations and habits, new consumer journeys, checkout experiences, for example, self-checkout with those, let's say, kiosks, for example, payment on the spot within the shops, etc., etc. And definitely, as a payment technology and service provider, we need to add to our omnichannel offering the support of all those new form factors, so yeah, including Android POS traditional devices and softPOS on smartphones, tablets, or other type of devices. So, and the other thing is about the growth of usage of softPOS. So you gave some impressive numbers, and congratulations, it's really impressive. On our side, on our platform, when I have a look at last year, we increased both merchants and transactions by 5-fold. So it's really impressive. Of course, we started low, but today we have more than 100,000 applications. So it's becoming really, I mean, interesting in terms of volume. So, and this is still growing very fast. But at the same time, POS device shipments are still growing in Europe. So obviously, we are not replacing traditional POS devices by softPOS applications.
I think that someone made the point about the increase in the payment mix and the availability of omnichannel. I guess it's cash which is losing out in this situation, but the number of acceptance points is growing.
It's growing, yeah.
Yeah. So, Evgeny, what's happened with cash in Ukraine?
With cash?
Yeah.
Cash, of course, is available, but we are working all together to decrease volume of cash and to increase cashless economy. And we see, according to the comparison with the European countries, that we have room for further growth and increase in number of devices. And from our perspective, softPOS is, first of all, provides opportunity to provide payment service on the dangerous territories. Also, it is additional service for those who was not using POSes at all. Very often we see self-employed people, we see taxi drivers, we see doctors, we see micro retailers on open air markets, for example, with food or something like that. And or you want to make a copy of your documents, for example. And that's really now becoming here and there amazing. And the penetration of this technology is now, in our case, 9%. We have a target of 20% in a couple of years. And what helps us? Additional services. We are usually thinking about ecosystem of extra services. That's not only about payment. The simplest way is tax fiscalization. Cloud tax fiscalization, which is obligatory and which is complementary now to this POS service. So both on Android, every merchant could get it, and in a softPOS solution as well. So the cashless economy is growing.
I can also add to this, because we are also not the playing, but also we have also several types of POS terminal, and also softPOS is one of them, as the next to the mobile, that we have some boom of mPOS. mPOS is and was using for the smaller businesses, but now also the some, how to say, the evolution or revolution of softPOS came. But of course we see the differences because of course some customer realize that of course it's not so easy sometimes, it's not the workings of us coming back to the mobile. But software is here, and of course, as you said nicely, that we have because it's a different type of technology, we can create the nice customer journeys, which of course the customer will utilize, and then of course the importance is growing. And also, as you said, we have to come to fight that we have to go to cashless economy, because still the cash is quite big, but of course it's also depend on the level of honestly of the VIT and all these things, because if you have VIT 6% or 23% is a bit different, and of course especially in these days it's tough, but really the technology is here, and we have to find the right mix of devices for the customers.
I want to just have a small addition. Why softPOS is so interesting for us? POS terminal is a physical device. We have to purchase, we have to deliver, we have to maintain, control, whatever, amortize. But softPOS is not available here and there, everywhere. But every one of you has a phone. Not everyone has a smartphone. We have pensioners, etc., which prefer other type of phones usually. But still, the phones are available. That's why tomorrow technology will continue slightly growing. And we just have a very careful forecast of this 20% in a couple of years. But we are ready to consider other figures. And for me, it's very interesting to be here to see where are we going, what merchants are waiting from us.
All right, so one of the things, we've been talking about softPOS at MPE for a number of years now, and you've spoken on it many times. So, but why now? What's kicked it over? Fahim, you any insights on something?
I think it all depends on the region. Yeah, we talk about technology, we talk about softPOS, cash payments, but it all depends on the country. So we're sitting in Germany right now, we go to McDonald's and you have those machines there. But you will have a number of queue lining up for cash. I'm not sure what exactly is the reason behind it, that's a big debate. But if you go to, for example, Poland, just right next to it, you go and you see everybody wants to tap their phone. In Poland also there are some kind of shops where you go inside, it's like a grocery shop, you go inside without even tapping anything, enter. Of course you need to have an application installed on your phone. The door opens for you, you pick up whatever you want, you go out and then you are just billed. So you don't even connect anything there. In China, you just go without even taking your phone, just put your I think, palm on top of the payment, and you just make the payments. So it all depends on the country. Of course, like for example, Pix in Brazil or UPI in India, there's Ideal in Netherlands. But the similar situation, what I heard also in Brazil, the same technology could not be replicated in a different region. So it all depends on the consumer. It also depends on the purchasing process. So it all depends, in my opinion, about the kind of trust they have towards their local payment options. Yeah. So of course there is Google Pay and Apple Pay, and there's Visa, MasterCard as well. But in my opinion, they are able to, local payment options can actually challenge the softPOS, compared to the global payment methods like PayPal, Skrill, or Visa, MasterCard.
Yeah.
If I may, I think one key element is the education as well, right? Making sure people get to know that we have different solutions, that they are secured, and we build the trust. So yes, it's true with discrepancy about the country, but it's also the time we invest to educate our customer, and that's key. And you were talking about Poland. We had this foundation in Poland where MasterCard and other partners invested to say, how do we make Poland, because the level of acceptance was really low, and Poland was a targeted country to say, how do we make it better? And in a few years, and I don't have the number, but the level of acceptance in Poland has been increasingly higher. We started to educate, to put tools in the hands of the customer to make them understand that it was not only cash or nothing else. Cash is one option, but you have many other options. So it needs to remain an option, but not a default one. It's just that it's one of the options, and we're not going to say there is no cash. We just say cash is one of the options, but then you have the card, you have the softPOS, and so on. So it's all about education.
Yeah.
I think.
I would like to maybe focus on the Brazilian case that you mentioned briefly, because this is very interesting. In Brazil, you have Pix. Pix is very popular, extremely popular. Yep. Even small, street merchants, they have Pix. And at the same time, banks are deploying softPOS to accept card payments, Visa, MasterCard, and 𝘬𝘯𝘰, the local scheme. And it's growing very fast at the same time. If you have a look at the vendors listed at MPOC, maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 from them out of 30 or something come from Brazil. So this shows that we all, with different technologies, different approaches, contributing to the cashless, in fact, society. This is what we are doing. And we are not competing. There's no competition between technologies. It's more competition between, let's say, race between consumers asking for more and more options available, and us, vendors, trying to come with new technologies and answer those needs. So, yeah.
I mean, that makes an interesting point. Like, so when a new payment method or payment technology is introduced into a country or a region, how does it get growth? How does the merchant incentivize someone to actually pick that up and use it? Is it just advertising? Can they incentivize?
So on our side, we are in the middle of the click-to-pay journey, right? So I'm going to use it. It's a lot of effort. It's the team going every day, talking to the merchant, the PSP, showcasing the benefit, and then it's getting the right partnership for those customers that I'm going to say, I will go with you, and I will share my feedback, and we build on that. So we always need to start with the first success story that then we use for the other partners. But it's taking a lot of time, right? Click-to-pay, I think we talk about click-to-pay since how many years? And we are just at the beginning of this hockey stick that I hope we're going to see this year, but it's a lot of time. Clearly, effort, talking points on a daily basis. So that's what the team is doing every single day, trying to convince that this is where we need to go. And then education and marketing campaign and the full package around it.
But Click-to-Pay's changed name about 6 times over the years as well. before we finally get to a wrap. Okay, well, let's ask the anonymous question. Or the deal with me. So, talking about resilience and payments and online and offline, with the current US situation and who knows what they want to do, is there a risk of resilience if the US decide that MasterCard and Visa have switch off? They've done it in other countries, but it's a... What's the response? How does Europe deal with that type of threat from a resilience point of view? I'm not going to ask you.
Non-biased.
The first obvious answer is, of course, the existence of some domestic schemes, like carte bancaire or gyro card, etc. So it works. In France, we can do 100% of card payments, even if Visa or MasterCard is not working. The other also option is account-to-account payments, which are growing very fast with banks investing, like 𝘬𝘯𝘰𝘬𝘬, for example, in Europe. So this is another good example. So I think and of course the current geopolitical situation is even accelerating this movement. So I think, and from also a merchant point of view, this is also interesting because merchants are offered more and more options independently from this, independence question, and this also adds, let's say, rationale to the situation, because of course there's a competition between the payment means, so costs for merchants are of course decreasing. So I think this is the moment where we will have more and more European sovereign, let's say, payment means for sure.
Okay. I can note that we are already working, and of course we didn't expect this situation politically. I hope it will be not coming to this point. But of course, account to account I'm building, because next to this that I'm believing in digitalization, because for me it's the more democracy and bringing down the story. And of course, as you said, it's also bringing the cost down, because I have with each merchant in the scheme different setup or some pricing scheme, and it's good, but also it's really allowing them really easy onboarding, because then I'm giving the customer on board by the banking law. It's not somebody with alias, it's somebody who is really having the account and having the real payments. And of course, for our fraud detection system, it's much easier to make the payments there. And but of course, it's not there are costs for integration.
I think that account to account is very interesting, but imagine this happens, there will be an issue with the fiat exchange rate. So I would probably go to decentralized exchange, which is crypto. Of course, that's another thing, which is also account to account as well, which you mentioned. But I think crypto is also one of just an example. I would go for that, but I don't know about the rest.
The question has come up, so it's quite an interesting question, because every mobile phone has a different space, a different point where you tap your phone, or where the mobile POS is going to work. Let's go to Hassim. How do you handle that from a user experience point of view to ensure the user experience is actually good?
Of course, the situation is difficult on Android devices, because on Apple it's solved. I mean, it's really nice and easy. On Android devices, because the NFC performance, the NFC antenna location is not the same from one model to the other. In fact, it's the merchant who is learning the gesture. For example, yesterday I used the softPOS solution in the taxi, and the taxi driver wanted to take my phone in order to do the gesture. I thought, okay, I'm an expert, I will do it myself. But again, we are learning all the ecosystem, a new gesture, a new way of it. So it's again about education, informing people. It's about and 𝘰𝘬𝘰𝘬𝘬𝘬. So this is first, and second, there's on the technology side, 𝘰𝘬𝘰𝘬𝘬𝘬 also is introducing a new, let's say, certification to improve the level 1 performance. So there is a lot of effort to be done yet, but. This current situation that does not prevent numbers to increase, like I told you. So
Mari, so you're talking about when tap to pay for internet e-com transactions. So so the user at home has got to learn
So that's still in the making, right? We are trying to understand the use case with some customers to understand if it would make sense, and we're going to start developing proof of concepts. But that's one of the potential use cases. Like I explained with my daughter, right? If I don't want my face to be recorded, or I'm just thinking of my grandmother, which is not someone managing the technology. That's also a possibility for her to get something more convenient, because she trusts more in the card than into the money.
You can see it makes sense as we have less bank branches for us to be able to go into. So if we're doing more remote interactions with banks, being able to tap your card as a way of authenticating yourself or doing a step up, providing more factors to provide that, raise the bar on KYC, as it were, and ensure that we're providing the right services to the right people. So it's a really interesting development. I'm afraid we are out of time. We get much more questions to ask, but panelists, thank you so much for your contributions. Absolutely tremendous. Thank you.
Thank you.